Parallel World Pharmacy Volume 1 Review. Ratings may recognize Parallel World Pharmacy due to the anime adaptation that aired in the summer of 2022, under the source material has remained unlicensed. Since then, we're still being treated to the new way to experience the story, thanks to One Piece books releasing the manga adaptation starting May 30th. Does it prove an entertaining read? Let's find out. The story follows 31-year-old Kanji Yakotani, who is working in the pharmaceutical development lab to create drugs to treat health problems like the one his little sister passed away from. Thinking on nothing but his research, Kanji neither eats nor sleeps healthily and soon dies of a heart attack. The next thing Kanji knows is when he awakens to find himself in an unfamiliar bed being called Master Pharma by the maid and told that he was struck by lightning. As you may have realized by now, Kanji has been reborn in a new world as Pharma D. Metasis, the son of a family renowned for running the Sand Flowing Empire's Imperial School, a pharmacy where Pharma's father, Bruno, is known as one of the best pharmacists in the region. The world of Pharma finds himself in his one field with magic, and when it comes to medicine and how illnesses are treated, it's very medieval. The knowledge Pharma holds from his previous life could advance to standards a great deal curing illnesses, and are currently considered incurable and giving people a much better way of life. Now, in his second life, Farmer vows to take better care of himself but still wishes to pursue medicine, knowing that his abilities could make such a big difference in this world. Volume 1 of Parallel World Pharmacy contains 4 chapters, which is just enough for us to get to know Pharma and establish his place in the world. Until he wakes up for the lightning strike, we learn for those around him, particularly his little sister. His personality is quite different compared to beforehand. He also now has scars in his shoulders, which Pharma assumes are burns by the accident, but those around him proclaim are the sign of blessing by the medicine god, Panactheos. There was some evidence of this being true, as previously Pharma could only use the water divine art like his father, but Aparagon now has an elemental ability, which is rare and allows him to recreate medicine, providing he remembers the structural formula behind the substance. He also can see when someone is injured or suffering from an illness and can diagnose it based on his knowledge from his past life. He is truly well suited to become a pharmacist, but this time one who works directly with patients, rather than being shut up in a laboratory. But we never get much further than setting this up in the first volume, due to being based on the light novel. There's quite a long opening that doesn't transition, quite as well the manga as it did to anime, where we got drawn all this time much faster. The art by Sei Takano also suffers in this first outing, as there's a lot of dense dialogue which takes on a lot of space in the pages. And even though that's not the case, the panels are quite small and lacking in background details. The characters too are very detailed, but Takano does at least depict their motions quite well. It's just all a bit flat and doesn't do a good job of conveying the vibrant world leaders, maybe unused things in the anime or the more attractive style of K-Pot's original illustrations for the light novel. Still, if you like the premise and want to read beyond an anime, I don't think the manga is a bad option with the source material on license. It doesn't feel rushed, not that too much is being cut out or skipped. We're getting to see that everything that is important and the narrative is easy to follow. But I do wish there was more to it visually, since I wagered it might be catching the eye of new readers or those less willing up to put up with the amount of dialogue at this stand. Maybe we improve as things go on. Drunk these light novels turn manga sometimes too. As previously mentioned, Parallel World Pharmacy Volume 1 comes into us thanks to One Piece books and was translated by Christy Awashiro. The translation reads well and obviously has a lot of technical research put into it, given the amount of scientific terminology we see Pharma employing throughout the book. In fact, at the end of the book, there are multiple healthcare experts and pharmacists credited as part of the editorial from the original Japanese release. So there's clearly been a lot of research put into this from both the original creator and the English translator. However, as is often the case with this publisher, there were some problems with this release. The lettering to setting is not very good, with very little variation in terms of font sizing, which doesn't convey the dialogue very well. There's also one instance of a large translation note, as seen above, being placed inside a panel, which I really wish I had been placed at the back of the book and the notes section instead. It's not crucial to the scene, nor is it something that wasn't already explaining in the context of the story. It's simply intrusive in what is otherwise a dramatic scene. It will pull the reader out of it. This lack of editorial oversight and quality assurance is one of the biggest problems I have with the work these publishers put out. Although it will take these little tweaks to make a much better product, particularly given these releases sell for around £12 in the UK, which is quite expensive. It's disappointing that as time goes on, nothing is changing in this department, and it's frustrating too. As someone who likes the titles being licensed by and large, but can wholeheartedly recommend the end product. The manga is ongoing in Japan with 9 volumes so far. In English, Volume 2 is scheduled for release in November with number 3 following December. I can imagine that there will be a delay since the scenes are a little too close together. Either way, there's a quiet gap until you'll be able to read more of this one. Overall, Parallel World Pharmacy Volume 1 proves a worthwhile reading if you're already a fan of the series, thanks to the anime. However, if for anyone with a passing interest or who doesn't wish to read Drunk's dense pages of dialogue, it's probably worth skipping. Hopefully, someone who licenses the light novel at some point, which is more likely to deliver a product that will satisfy both new and existing fans. 5 out of 10.